Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings, and we're going to start some lessons, inshallah. Naam, assalamu alaikum. And to all of those who may not be Muslim, especially African Americans in the African diaspora, who I myself have tried to reach out to, and as well as my brother, good brother, from the HTC, Happy Companion, and may Allah reward him for what he was doing. This is an addition to warning the Muslims from attending such rooms or live streams without being prepared, dealing with the likes of their real treacherous ways. It may not seem that it's treacherous because they try to portray that they're respectful and they're doing something for good, but then it's very treacherous because the shaitan is treacherous. He might use keen and charismatic speaking. Well, he'll whisper to you. That's what we know as Muslims. But as far as when he whispers to you, it's something that you might think is good, but then it's really bad for you. You know what I mean? And these people, most of them are disbelievers. Some of them are even apostates. They left the faith of Islam. And for those of you who are non-Muslims that are trying to learn and understand what Islam truly is, and might be Christian, might be Jewish, might be or Hebrew, better to say for most African Americans, because we don't kind of like recognize ourselves as Jews because of the history of what the word Jews came from, which is a whole nother story. But I'm just trying to clarify how most of us group ourselves in these different faiths. And some of us are not believers at all neither. But you're open-minded. You're not a biased person. You don't have a biased intention to try to thwart someone and change them and take them out of their faith. And for me, as for my personal, I personally, had an experience, and one of the well-known streamers and YouTube streamers that deal with trying to bring what they feel is knowledge to African diasporans, who are people who are trying to make repatriation, returning back to Africa for most for their ancestral, acknowledging their heritage and their ancestral history. So they want to return back. They might visit first, or they may, and after visit, they would eventually go there for good and reside there and live there for good if they are able to. Different aspects and factors have to be in place, especially financial and this and like this. But back to the point. These diasporans, this stream is regularly known to bring this out. And the only reason why I will reveal the stream is, or the person is, but actually, you know what? I'm not going to reveal it at this time. I will do it maybe in another video, because really that's not my main intention tonight, is to bring to you, to expose them. But eventually that will come about, because in Islam we are patient and we learn sabr. Sabr means patience. And you come to know the people you're dealing with, when even if they're not Muslim and even if they're enemies to your faith. And when you come upon a person, you don't know them until you hear them, until you deal with them and they show who they are. So when I would enter this stream space in YouTube, the person who facilitates it portrayed a very respectful manner about them and a fair type of way of manner about them. Uh, Now, when every now and then I would find myself in a disagreement with some of the people who were the regulars with her in the room or in her stream. And she herself is a professed disbeliever. She doesn't believe in any faith, but she does recognize her heritage, and she connects with her spirituality, if she wants to call it, and the others with that are with her in the room or in the stream, and they're like-minded people. Now, I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? I do have a problem with my faith being presented incorrectly, and being because, alhamdulillah, I think the brother that gave advice to the people, and it's good. We have to do this too, especially brothers and sisters that are new to the deen or just coming about and whatever like this, and don't know principles about how you, when you go to deal and give people dawah, or you're trying to protect your deen, because it's incumbent upon us. But you cannot do it if you don't have knowledge and if you don't have no foundation of knowledge. So for me, patience was clearly there. Alhamdulillah, so at some point I did get a little, because I just come from a background of where I was raised up with my mom most of the time, and my father, he was the balance of me, but my temperament, I gained a lot of learned behaviors from my mom, to be willing to express my emotions. So, and it usually was verbal. And when I had to be physical, what I'm saying, with then I did it, especially because of the life that I was living in the streets and stuff like that. My time and what I did in the streets, may Allah, continue to forgive me for that, of my wrongs. But I'm not here to expose any of my wrongs and my sins, because it's not from Islam to do so. But Allah knows best, and I do. So, and I do after that, because I'm the one, But emotions, was starting to come up a little bit. That dude, you need to cool out and give me some respect. The person that I was actually going back and forth with in this stream, while the facilitator was allowing the disrespect, until they finally got other people that might have said, let the brother talk, being me. But basically what I'm trying to say is that, like the brother had mentioned in his video, and try to go and check his video out, because HTC, the brother, Happy Companion, he has a pretty good video that he gives some advice, and you can check that video out. Why the people should stay away from, what is it? Okay, let me get it back. Reasons to avoid Muslim bashing panels. Okay. And he has hashtag Islam, hashtag Kufar, which is a disbeliever, hashtag apostate, which is a person who leaves their faith, hashtag Muslim, the person who submits to Allah in Islam. So basically, we have to be careful. We definitely do. He really didn't get me, and he's not going to get me to leave my faith. He's not going to get me to question my faith. The only thing that I did do is get a little frustrated because he didn't allow me to speak and present what I know, and to clearly let him know and advise him, if he was sincere and not biased, that we came to find out, that he would be willing to allow research to be done and leave off from the subject matter, because the subject matter was not the topic matter. He kept going into religion, and the topic was about Arabs, and Arabs happen to be Muslim, most of them, and then some of them are not Muslim. There's atheist Arabs, so we cannot group them all together, and that was a messed up fallacy of what they were doing in that stream. But it was being done. And as the brother advised, they have trickery, they have tactics, they plan it, and they use a lot of their tactics with having enough equipped information from Google and the likes of other, probably other resource that they can gather up real quick, real fast. They don't go by how we Muslims, and we sit and wait for in books and stuff and for a few days before we become up, or maybe a day, if it's not extensive, to be researched, to reach a clarity and factual proofs and evidences, but not just say, okay, this is the proof and evidence. Just you throw it out and go right into Google and you just look at it and it's like, okay, that's what it is. And so let's put it out to the people. That's what he wanted to do because he had a agenda. And I want to reveal him first, because I don't want to reveal the person that facilitated it, because I still want to give her and be patient with her to redeem herself and to really get rid of that guy and start being, as she claims or portrays herself as being sincere to looking out for her people. Because when you are sincere, you might make some mistakes still. You might make errors because you don't have knowledge. And she clearly sometimes at times states that, and she goes and takes sources that what she can find is like the videos and video clips she had in that particular stream that was going on. It was dealing with the stream was based on Arabs, how they came into affecting Islam. How Arabs, how they played a role in slavery, the slave trade, the African slave trade. And they brought, like I said, she brought clips to support her position, but she doesn't have knowledge. So she allowed this guy that, because as he proclaimed himself to be a Muslim from 7 years old up to 40, he left the faith due to his incorrect inconsistencies and what he didn't like about the faith. And then there was another person in there that was a female that she kept with the faith. I mean, she was in the faith as well, and then she left the faith eventually due to her experiences and what she didn't like from the faith or the people. Actually, from the way she explained is from the people of the faith. You understand? So I realized that I was in a situation that I had to stay firm, be patient, bring as much as I can. What I didn't do, and that we have to make sure, is be ready to gather up your information, because that's not me. I'm not one who hastily gathers up my information. I didn't come into this deen and then learn and build myself up to be that type of person. And the ulama, the scholars, they not like that neither. But they will answer when they have enough knowledge, because they've been going extensively in knowledge. I'm not a scholar, so that's clear. This hadith, I never heard the hadith that this person recited. So I said to them, I got to do research. I got to go back and check on what you're checking on, because there's no evidence from what I've seen of heard of this, that this is like this. So he showed me it and sent it to me and this and like this. And I was just pretty much ignoring it for the time being, to basically say, okay, I'm going to do it at my time. I'm not going to do it on his time. But I was continuously trying to, guide him away from the religion being the topic, and trying to bring him back to the topic, and then other people. But of course, that's not what their agenda was. So this is why it's so seriously important to not engage with these people, because they're not. And whether you really are very emotional and passionate about trying to stay firm and teach the people your deen, and or protect your deen, doesn't matter. They are not going to follow you. They're going to try to follow their way. And only Allah is the guide. We should know this, and we should understand this without a doubt. Only Allah guides whom He chooses, and none can misguide whom Allah guides, and none whom Allah misguides can guide. So, that is clear. That's understood. You have to know this from Aqidah. You have to know this for your deen to understand that. So and a second advice and the following from it was actually my experience that I'm giving to you to let you know this is not the thing you want to do. And my thing was, it might have been an error on my part because I didn't go in there and say, Taalib, I already knew some of the tactics because I've been in that situation before. But my thing was, the error is that Taalib, okay, now you have to clearly deal with whatever they throw at you. Are you going to accept it or reject it? And then the people are going to say, see, he's avoiding it. And he's dancing around like he kept saying. Watch him dance and stuff like that. And I'm like, just trying to be patient, but also hit him and let him know this is not correct from what I hear and from what I know. This is not from what I know and learned in Islam. So what you're saying doesn't necessitate this truth. And I kept with that, and then kept trying to push him away from the subject that he kept speaking on. And he was speaking on how the Prophet ﷺ in relation to Bilal first. He questioned me with Bilal, and I clearly have knowledge of that, and I was able to deal with that. And he tried to bring about the exchange that went on as far as he claims it was a slavery trade, a trade within the slavery process, not an exchange or actually trying to buy someone out of slavery, which Bilal by Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, both of them, may Allah be pleased with, he was buying his freedom. This was done many a times throughout the history, even in America. People had to buy people's freedom. They couldn't just say, okay, well, I'm taking them, give them to me. So, this guy was using that and kept using it and kept trying to, change it and make it fit to where he was coming from. And my thing is that when you realize that the people are what they're upon, and that's where, okay, maybe the error was with me coming in there and not put myself into my head that I'm gonna deal with them from word for word, everything they do. I'm gonna be able to control the conversation and all these types of factors that went on that he was able to maneuver because he had support. Basically, you know what I'm saying? I might have been at right and might have had everything to be able to bring as far as my deen and understanding and knowledge, but not to make myself it was not in a position where I can make myself be heard or be even understood, because he would not allow that. And then the others that were there, they supported him, that was speaking on the panel anyhow, because there was no other Muslim speaking on the panel. That was clear. So, or that can come in and say, okay, after what I was saying, they might bring some other information to clarify what I might not have had at the time, because I was dealing with with a time sensitive situation. Plus, my time sensitive situation was at where I was at home, and at what I was doing at home besides trying to, speak. So you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're not, as basically was clearly to basically say, being prepared enough to deal with what comes that you're not. Because I was prepared, but I wasn't prepared enough to deal with when he came with stuff from off the topic. I had stuff already prepared for that topic, but he threw off the topic into and just started getting on Islam in relation to the Prophet and one of the companions of the Prophet, or both of the companions of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is a very, very serious matter. We have to be careful, and inshallah, we will do better when it comes to that we stay in within the areas of where we can control this social media arena or space as a live stream and the likes of this. Okay, because again, what I forgot is that felicitators, they have certain controlling mechanisms that they can do in their in the mechanics of that stream on the YouTube, or whether they're doing it on StreamYard and the likes of this. So we got to be careful. We have to be careful as Muslims. Number one, I'm saying, and I'm speaking to more the Muslims, and then even the new Muslims that just came into the faith, especially. And then, if, as a non-Muslim, if you're trying to be sincere and seek knowledge and learn and want to know about Islam, you're sincerely interested and have interest to know, and you're not a biased person like them who's trying to thwart the people, take them off their faith, and make attacks to demonize Islam and the people of Islam, especially the main predecessors of Islam, like the Prophet and his companions, and then even those that followed in the rightly guided generations. I'm not talking about the people of Bid'ah, the people of innovation. I'm talking about them, the Salaf Salih, So basically, we got to just be mindful. And so I'm going to pretty much try to finish up with you, brothers and sisters. Also to know that from this time on, inshallah, I've been meaning to do my my channel and produce a live stream, and inshallah soon that will be done, and it's clear for that. And alhamdulillah, qadr Allah wa ma sha fa'ala. This is a ni'mah to Allah, ni'mah of Allah. This is a disguised blessing from Allah, because now, and I mentioned it to them in their comics section, because I wanted to clearly let them know of their doings and their that I'm aware of it, and others are, and that inshallah we will know better and who we dealing with. So now I know who I'm dealing with. Now I know this person. His name is Nakmizi. That's his name in the YouTube arena of the Afrocentric or African Diasporian arena. And my thing is, because I try to go into these areas, and let me just give it to you why I've done it. And some brothers might say, or some people might say, well, bro, you should know you are part of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jamaat. You Quran and Sunnah, man. You don't need to be at all none of those people. When you know that your brothers and your sisters are there, Muslim brothers and sisters that might venture into these spaces and these streams because they're seeking hijrah back to Africa, and there's nothing wrong with that. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam there's nowhere in evidence that he speaks against us being acknowledging our background from where we come from, our lineage. There's nothing wrong with that. And then wanting to be in that land, just like the Arab Muslims and the Asian Muslims choose to be in their lands that Islam is established. Of course, they don't want to pretty much be in non-Muslim lands. Some of them do. That's why we see them in America and in UK and in these different countries. And there's a lot of unfortunate situations that come about with them as well. These immigrants, may Allah guide them and get them back on point and realize that they should return back to their Muslim lands. But the point I'm saying is that in Africa, much a legacy of Islam in the West African sub-Saharan areas, North Africa. And so brothers and sisters want to make hijrah there, but they're going and seeing, sometimes they fall into these sites because these people are talking about migration. They're talking about migration, not talking about just Afrocentricity. They're talking about going to Africa and establishing stuff, establishing business, establishing homes, and getting land and this and like this. And they can fool you and trick you in. And if you're not a well-rounded Muslim upon Tawheed. This is the foundation of Islam, which is the oneness of Allah, and you know that you're in this faith for Him. You're in this faith to please Him, submitting to Him as a Muslim. Islam means to submit to and surrender yourself, your life, and your desires, everything of who you are, to pleasing your Lord first. He allows you to live this life. That's why He placed us into this life, but not to live your life just to pleasing your own desires like the disbelievers do. And that's their main thing. My desires first. What I desire, what I don't like. Just like when it comes to religion, even in the other religions, why they're so astray from the truth. They left Tawheed because they believe in more an emotional, desiring type of situation of following their faith and concept of following their faith, and also blind following, and then what is correct, what is the truth, what was the total truth, origin of the truth, which is that there's only one deity worthy of worship. There's only one being worthy of worship. That is Allah. That is the Creator. That is the one who gave life to all things on this earth and above it, in the heavens. Whatever exists is by Him alone, and this is what Islam is based on: submitting to this being and saying, "Yeah, I'm giving it all to Him, and I'm gonna focus on pleasing Him because He's the one who gave me this." Period. Simply to put it, He gave it to us. He gave us this life. We didn't give ourselves this life. But basically, back to the point, our brothers and sisters are getting grabbed up in there, and they're becoming. You got to be careful because some of them are becoming overly Afrocentric, not in a sense of Afrocentric of having a knowledge of who you are and where you come from. That's fine to that extent, but not to the point where that's all that matters. I'm African, and that's first before you even Muslim. No. Be careful. And that you only have to establish good for African people, and then forget about the other people. No, that's not Islam. If your brother's European, if your brother's Asian, if your brother's is Arab, which they have African lineage anyhow, but we're not going to go into that, or all these other people other than the African Muslim, you have to look out for them too. You have to be justful to them too. And even a non-Muslim, you got to be justful. They have rights. Everything has rights over you. Your own body, our own body has rights over us. You understand what I'm saying? So back to the point. Be careful of these rooms, brothers and sisters, and those of you who are not Muslim that are seeking to be sincerely learning about what Islam truly is. Don't go there. Go to the Muslims. Go to a Muslim room. Go to a Muslim stream like HTC does. It's Islamic room that he does. This stream that he does. I can't remember the name. Brother, forgive me if you watched the video. But basically, we have to be mindful. We have to be careful, and totally agree with what the brother was coming with. Definitely not against my brother in that aspect, because he's right. The people will try to get you. Alhamdulillah, I wasn't that type of Muslim that be got. You know what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah. And I only put that in Allah's hands, because Allah put me where I am. He gave me what I have up in my brain. He made me Taalib. That's my name, Brother Taalib. The Brother Taalib Show. And I'm still seeking knowledge. Still seeking. That's what Taalib means, seeker of knowledge. I'm still seeking knowledge. I don't know it all, but I do know what I know. And that person, Nekmeezy, didn't know what he knew. That's why he left the faith. He was an apostate. Yeah, he happens to be an apostate. And there was others. There was one other apostate in there. I don't need to bring her name out. But if you watch the video, you will know what I'm talking about. And again, if the facilitator watches this, know that the only reason why I haven't exposed you And what has gone on in that what goes on in your stream, just be mindful that you have a responsibility of being a well-rounded, balanced human being before you are African or before you were whatever nationality country you was raised in. I'm not going to even bring that up. You know, I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself and leave off from people like that. And deal with people like, look at Blacksit. The Blacksit people, that lady, she doesn't speak against people's faiths, and she doesn't speak against telling them that they need to leave their faith and it's trash and it's all that type of stuff and garbage. It's stuff that's statements that have been made in there, and you say be respectful, but you allow these insults. You allow the person to overspeak the person who is trying to bring with respect his part of the the discussion that he asked for. You allowed several things to go on, and I don't know how you so all of a sudden disappeared. I took it more from that it was from Allah, that Allah, you know, allowed you to lose the control of what you wasn't showing that you had control of anyway. So now the people who wasn't even the ones who own the stream took over for you, or had to take over, or you actually permitted one to help you out. That was the female apostate that did so. So basically, you know what it is. And if you want to take it in a sensitive manner, that's up to you. I'm not here to like apologize. This is an unapologetic position right now for me. And it's not that I'm in my feelings and whatever. I'm a man. MashaAllah, tabaraka wa ta'ala. I don't have to even say that, but I'm just saying I don't fear none of y'all. I don't fear no human being. I don't fear no man on this earth. I fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the sense of that He was the one who gives me life, and He's the one who's going to make the ends of my life. Take me out of here and whatever, my soul, boom, 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 and that I will be judged by Him alone. So none of you are my judge. Like, I don't worry about what you're saying as far as, he's just brainwashed and all this stuff. I know where I'm at. I've been there for many years, and it ain't going nowhere, inshallah. And I pray for that all the time, because people go astray like two of your peoples over there. But you have to get yourself together if you sincerely for your people. And the best change is not through changing their religion. It's changing their situation. And if they know how to use their religion to change their situation, then you encourage them. But if their religion is not like we found with Christianity, I'm not going to be here to talk against it. I'm not here to do that, but that it hasn't done anything in Africa. Islam from the beginning did, but you don't want to see that because you are a disbeliever in the faiths. You chose that in your life. You left the faiths that whatever you was brought up and raised into do. So now you on what you on, but don't try to change other people because you do so. This is an advice. It's not necessarily. I'm not trying to, come at you and attack you. I'm advising you that know what you're doing, because everything is recorded, just like what got recorded and how I was, thwarted or overshadowed, overcasted, outstaged, because the person had enough more support and mouth to do so. You understand what I'm saying? And because I was using my respectable way that as a Muslim to be respectful, they used that to get over, and you allowed it. So, but it's okay. Alhamdulillah. I learned now what I'm dealing with. So, and from Allah knows best, you won't see me in your room, in your stream anymore. And I'm making that known out in the open right now because I know better to do that. I know who I'm dealing with. I'm not there. I wasn't there to try to change you from your faith and call you to Islam even. I was just trying to support my faith and make sure that what you're saying is correct and that you would not go and speak what's falsehood or misinterpret or change or whatever. Actually, a good intention that I had was to make sure you didn't make any errors because I looked at you as a sincere person. And those people didn't know them, thinking, okay, they might be sincere. Who's to say? I can't judge because Allah knows what's in the chest of the human being. I don't know. I'm not Allah. I don't know what was in your chest and what your intentions were. But intentions show through actions. That's what's known in Islam and known even in outside of Islam. People get to know a person from their actions and know that their intentions, that's what they was trying to do. Like stab in the backers, like crab in the barrels, like agents. We know, and we're not sleeping. So just take that, inshallah. May Allah guide you, Allahumma ameen, to Islam. I'm still going to invite you and all of them and the one who left. May Allah guide them back. I'm going to tell you, Allah is prepared for that day. You might have heard about that day and you don't believe in it now. And it's understood because you left whatever you believe in when it came to knowing and understanding what that day that we all going to be held accountable for. And even before that, in your grave. Not no reincarnations and all this other type of stuff. Pharaoh, they still finding them bodies. They shipping the body back and forth. These pharaohs. You're gonna use Kemet. Why they still in that form? Some of them in the grave, in the coffin, still wrapped up and mummified. There's where's the reincarnation? Oh, that body's there, so now they morphed themselves into a dog or a cat. That's some spooky stuff. Like I was saying, that's the spooky stuff. One of the guys in your stream said that spooky. That's the spooky stuff. Let's get it twisted. Let's get it not twisted. Excuse me, because you got twisted. Shaitan twisted y'all from what is correct to what is incorrect. I'm not talking about what the Europeans brought, because we already know that. Muslims already know that. We're in the middle of the path, excluding the ones who go off the path in the extreme. Yeah, that's clear. And what they did, the Arabs that did the slavery, we already know this stuff. And we speak about it, but y'all don't have no care for that. Y'all want to just go with what your agenda is. But we see you and we know you now. You're exposed. I haven't exposed you personally, but your people definitely exposed. Meezy and the likes of the other people in the room that I don't need to have to do them because he really is the main one who won at it. He needs to be known. He had the gall to come at the Muslim and try to override that which the Muslim was trying to bring, the truth, and try to outcast or outshadow or overshadow that which he was bringing. This is from Shaitan. This is from Shaitan. Shaitan does this. And the human that does this, that's your companion. Shaitan. Know that. But he's not really your companion. He's just like them people in the hood and in the jail. They be your friend for a minute and flip the script on you and stab you right in the back. They might be the literal person who stabs you in the back, shanks you right in. Yeah, those are the people who are like the Shaitan. So beware who you associate yourself with, because they might actually turn on you too. So if you're sincere, just get it together. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, but brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, I hope you take this advice and listen to THC's video too and get the advice and come on in to the Muslims and learn from them as a non-Muslim if you're sincere and if you have sincere questions, not even just the fact that you're trying to become a Muslim, but you want to know, you want to have knowledge, you're sincere to have open knowledge so you have knowledge and know, especially when you're trying to make a move when you're going to a predominantly Muslim country. This is something you need to know. You need to know the people's culture. You need to know what is the no's and the ins and the outs that you have to know and what you can do and what you shouldn't be doing. You're going to mess yourself up if you don't. I'm telling you that for real. But for the Muslim brothers and sisters, that especially the new Muslim, be careful. Don't go in these places. Stay out of them. I survived because I have what you need to have to survive when you deal with these kuffar, these disbelievers, which is a lot of iman and tawheed that backs that iman up. Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, and putting your trust and reliance and believing in Him as one and submitting to Him alone, not worrying about these human beings and what these people are doing. And trusting that Allah has the best knowledge there for you to know, not to worry about what they're trying to thwart you with and bring to you, because you know your faith. You know what it is. So you're not going to doubt it. Alhamdulillah. That's where Allah placed for me and in my heart. And I have no worries about that. But not everyone, not all of you brothers and sisters have that yet. So be mindful, be careful. You have to gain your iman. You have to gain your faith. And how you gain it, because you just came out of another faith especially, or you came from atheism where they didn't even believe in anything as a belief of in a creator or God, if you want to say it in English, Allah in Arabic. So you have to be careful. And that's just my advice to you, brothers and sisters. Barakallahu feekum. May the peace and blessings be upon you all, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And have a good night.